Both Wayne and Derry have flipped their scripts. Each find themselves in relationships. Now destined for bigger venues, which is bound to happen when you get that much practice throwing hip.
It's Thirsty Thursday, and that means we are once again hanging out the Produce Stand, a podcast paying tribute to the great Canadian show, Letterkenny. Now, I know what you're thinking. There are many other podcasts about Letterkenny out there, but this one is destined for bigger venues. I'm Al, your host, and joining me in the room as always is the lovely Tanya, and online we have Squirrely Matt, the villainous Victor, and joining us this week, making his third appearance if you count last week's social, is the man from Minnesota himself. Make some noise for Chad.
Wondrous.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Oh man.
Wait.
Rough start.
Got awkward.
I regret nothing.
Welcome back, Chad.
There was a moment where I'm like, oh, did he change the sound?
No, I had
I was like, do I enter now?
no. I had
Wait for the soundbite.
I had a moment of panic when I look at my soundboard and I couldn't find the link right away.
One job, Al. One job.
I couldn't find the link right away. I'm like, oh shit! I hope this silence doesn't sound that bad. Especially when I play it back later at 1.5 speed, it'll sound fine. But yeah, anyone who's playing at a regular speed is going to be what just happened there? Did I go deaf? Anyway, welcome back, Chad. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good. I'm doing well.
That's good.
It's been a week.
Yeah, it's been a week. Well, we'll get to that in a second. You're like everyone already knows who you are because this is your third appearance now, and you're the man from Minnesota. You're the glass cutter. You are the man with the beard, and you're wearing your Keswickian dinner jacket again tonight, which we appreciate.
Because you don't fuck with tradition.
You don't fuck with That's the one. That's the other one I was looking for. I don't know if I have it. Anyway, I got to really reorganize this soundboard.
Figure it out.
Sort yourself out. For sure.
All right. Well,
How are you now?
tonight's lineup is going to be Tanya, Al,
Again.
Victor, Matt, and then Chad. So Tanya,
You got to shuffle that.
I did shuffle. Oh, was that last week's? All right, let's try this again. Tonight's lineup is going to be Matt, Tanya, Al, Victor, Chad. Matt, how was your week?
See,
sure?
not easy to go first, right?
Well, I mean, I wasn't expecting. Like 10 seconds ago, I thought you were going first, and now lots happened since then.
She had a good point there. That was I read the lineup from last week again. So
Man, you must have had a rough week. So I'm actually nervous to hear yours, Al. But I mean, not much has changed since last week. I'm still flipping bikes. That's still a thing. And
how many have you sold?
5. And honestly, you guys razz me, but we are net $350 right now.
Wow.
That's
Don't make
impressive.
fun of you because we like you.
We've got, it's getting out of control. So the wifey and I said, okay, we need to stop until we get rid of the ones we have. Because I think I have 7 bikes in my garage right now.
Oh, dear. They take up a lot of room.
Yeah.
I have a pretty big garage, so that's all right.
Okay.
The room's not the issue. Now it's just, there's too many. So got to sell them. They're all in working shape. I've been tuning them up. I bring them in, I clean them, I tune the derailleur, I reset the brakes, all the basic shit. I mean, if there's anything really complicated, I steer clear. But
once the pandemic ends, the bicycle boom is going to end as well, and you're going to be left with all these bikes in your garage.
Well, we're selling this weekend. We've got 4 ready to go. So
you better hope, or this boom's going to turn into a bust real fast for you.
It's such a funny little thing to do. We're like I said last time, we're clearly losing our minds, but hey, it's keeping us busy. I'm learning a new skill. It's not very transferable, but it's fine and it's fun. And
hey, all us fellas, you could always fix bike. Just like you could always drive. Oh, this is from season 9. Never mind. It's a season 9 reference that I just put in there. But Chad got it,
gotcha.
And many of our listeners will get it. Cool. Anything else this week?
No.
Okay, Tanya, how was your week?
My week's been rough. So Al and I were on the list and finally got our vaccine on Saturday. And,
Woo, first shot.
That
Yay.
was super exciting. We were very I know, we were so excited. And
Wondrous.
then the side effects started hitting me, and I think I was able to check off every single one, even the not so likely ones were checked off of the list. And I've had a pretty rough 3 days, I think, where I was just like,
No,
done
more
for.
than 3, at least 4.
4 days.
Yeah,
or
every
so.
time a new symptom came up, she was like Googling it to see if she had to go to the hospital or something.
I'm like,
I got hit like hard when I got my first shot. Like my entire like left side of my body and just like hurt for like
oh, really?
2 days straight. Like,
Yeah.
and I had to work. Like I got it on a Thursday, and then I had to work that Friday. And like I was like, I can't do a whole lot. Somebody else do my job for me.
Was it the Pfizer that you got?
Yeah, I got the Pfizer.
Yeah, see, it doesn't matter. They all have side effects. So
I thought because I had the AstraZeneca, I thought I'm like, oh, I got the no name brand. That's why I got all the side effects. I'm like, oh man, it was painful. It was so, I'm thankfully we had it on a Saturday, because I, just like you, Chad, I don't think I would have been able to function. Like I felt like a newborn baby, like falling asleep every 2 hours, and I was knocked out, and then the headaches, and as you said, the left side of my body, my neck, oh my God, it was it was
my arm. I could not like lift up my arm. Like it was like literally sitting like right here.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, it's this
So
bad
everyone go out and get it. Everyone go get it. Sounds
no,
like
but-
No, hold on.
It actually should get it. Though,
yeah,
so.
absolutely.
Yeah.
You know what? And
Don't listen, Matt.
I got the shot same day, and all I did was take a few extra naps, which I probably would have taken anyway. So
it was a rainy
it
weekend.
was a rainy weekend, rainy, cold week. So
you know what? With even with all the side effects, I knew that was nothing compared to what COVID would actually be.
Yeah.
And that it is for the greater good, and I'm going to be better for it. So, a few days in bed is, and I didn't ever feel like throwing up or anything like that sick wise. It was just a tiresome kind of feeling unwell.
Yeah, you had chills for a few.
I had
and,
again,
Were they
I
multiplying?
had all this.
She was losing control.
Yeah, so that was rough, but over it, and feeling better.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
Good. Well, good for you guys.
Yeah, my week. So we got the shot Saturday. Also, Friday. Friday was my favorite time of the year. Every year, it happens on the very last day of April. I submit my taxes, and then moments after I submit my income tax return, it's like freedom again. I have another year that I can procrastinate not having to do that. So that's always my favorite time of year. And the other thing is, this week I started my new gig. So that's it's been fun. I've been meeting all my new team members, and just kind of they're onboarding me, which is weird because I've worked for the company for 6 years. So most of the stuff that they would normally do with new employees, they're just skipping with me. I'm just skipping right to meeting everyone and starting the planning for what all the great work we're going to do. So exciting things to come. Victor, how's your week? That good, eh? Wow.
Wow.
It's been a busy week. I've got a week left in my current gig, and so it's just so busy. And I'm trying to hire 2 people, and so I've been interviewing a lot this week, and just busy. You know
Mm-hmm.
how it is, Al.
Mm-hmm.
So just in the evenings, I've been vegging out, playing my new baseball game.
Is it a
MLB
simulator?
The Show. It is. Well, it is a simulator.
It's the show. Yeah. We talked about it last week.
Yeah, I talked about it a lot, and then I like one of the greatest artists that I've discovered on the soundtrack is Songhoi Blues is the band,
Mm-hmm.
and so if you want to check out the song "Worry," it's oh my god, it's an unbelievable song. It's got this killer guitar riff, and it's just like wow. There's
Cool.
still good music is still happening.
Yeah. So I've been told. Yeah.
And I'm discovering it from a baseball game. So that's that's pretty cool. And Linda and I started watching a new. Well, it's not a new show; it's an old show, but we started watching it on Amazon. What is it? Mozart? No, Mozart in the Jungle.
What?
Anyway, so it's Mozart in the Jungle.
Okay.
So it's about the New York Philharmonic, and it's more interesting than what it sounds. So
So
Well, we'll have to
Yeah.
take your word for it.
yeah. No. Catch it. Catch like an episode, and you'll see what I mean.
What is it a drama, comedy, musical?
Yeah. It's a drama, but it's interesting. Like it's not like This Is Us or anything
Right.
boring like
No. Okay. Good call. Apologies to those who might like This Is Us, but I'm
I know there's several in our community that
Yeah.
like that show,
Yeah.
but
Victor, we may differ on some things, but I feel like I could trust your shout outs for things. You talked about, there was a movie, Unhinged,
yes.
we watched a while back, and I mean it was a Russell Crowe movie. It's just thriller suspense. That was not bad. I gave it a watch. For what it was and the genre that it filled, that was a fun fucking movie to watch, and it was darker. It was darker than I expected it to be.
Unhinged.
It was interesting because we hate the girl, right?
Yeah.
She like we're not rooting for her.
Yeah. She I mean, yeah, she didn't handle that situation very well. And then I wouldn't say she got what was coming to her, because that's
she was
not accurate at all. But she definitely procrastinated.
But she's not the protagonist, right? Like she's like, who's the protagonist in that movie? I'm not even sure. Like,
okay, you guys want to start your own Unhinged podcast? Feel free.
all right, settle down. Don't get
my point was, I'm giving Victor some credit for his recommendations.
Okay. Yes. He hasn't steered me wrong either. Chad, how was your week?
It's been a good week. I've been busy all week, and I mean, my favorite day came out, or my favorite day of the year was Tuesday, a new Star Wars show. It's Star Wars Day, guys.
Oh,
May the-
right.
May the 4th.
That's right.
May the 4th.
It's Revenge of the Sixth, but now.
I have not heard that.
Oh yeah, there's like a day for like all this week, and like May, since like Mandalorian came out, now it's like this is the May, so like it's the whole thing. But anyway, there was a new Star Wars show. I binged that like twice already. It's so good.
What's the new show called?
It's Bad Batch. It's an animated show, so it's like picks up right after like the animated Clone Wars show.
Okay, is that on
Ran
Disney
from-
Plus?
Yes, it is.
Yeah. Cool.
The first episode's like 70 minutes long, and it's like some of the best like animation I've seen in a long time. So it is movie quality. Like they could have played this thing on the big screen. Quality animation.
Speaking of animation, actually, during one of my meet and greets at work last week, we did a little icebreaker with one of the teams that I met, and they are asking what everyone was watching. And somebody had mentioned they were watching this show called Invincible on Amazon Prime, and he said it's like an animated version of The Boys, basically, which piqued my interest because I'm a fan of The Boys. So I watched it and I binged it. It was really good. It was solid. I enjoyed it.
I've been meaning to binge that for like the past like 3 months.
Yeah.
Like since it's been airing, I'm like, I gotta watch the show. And I'm like, I need to watch the show now.
Yeah, if you like The Boys, you'll like this. I mean, the animation is nothing to write home about. It's just standard superhero show animation or whatever. But the story,
I'm seeing like
the storytelling,
like the trailers and stuff like that.
The storytelling is amazing and amazing. It's good. It's a really solid show. So I recommend that. So what about last week, guys? What did you guys think of last? Let's do a little bit of a post-mortem. I thought it turned out pretty well. Better turnout than I had expected or imagined. What did you think, Chad?
Oh, that was pretty fun. It was pretty neat to like actually meet some of the people like in real life, I guess.
Yeah,
virtual
This is real life.
Yeah, yeah, it was
virtual
cool.
real life. It was pretty cool to actually like see, like put faces to names and stuff like that.
Yeah, there's some good energy there, and I think Matt, you'd said everyone kind of behaved and waited their turn to speak for the most part. Near the end, it got a little
Not awesome.
loose. No, Awesome did fine. Awesome.
He was restrained.
She was restrained for sure. But yeah, at the end, I love when the end music started and she was still talking, and I loved how you gave her shit for a second. He's trying to end the show. I love that.
I was actually pretty surprised. Like you kept when I said at the end, like, all right, now let's pick this up on Discord.
No, I like that little touch. I'm like, yeah, the party's going to continue on Discord. I like that. That's why
I was like listening to it at work, and I was like, oh, he left that in. Oh,
yeah,
nice.
But I feel like we need to throw some up on our merch page there. You need to add one of those white tank tops for our buddy Steven. So we have the Alabama tuxedo with a produce stand.
I'm waiting for dinner jackets.
I think there are some white tanks in the store, aren't there?
There are. You can get it.
Mhm.
You can get it.
Well, there you go, Steven. You're set.
All you. Steve.
So we have sold a few items, and I already got a picture of Dennis
That made me so happy.
showing off his produce stand T-shirt. So I'm still waiting for mine. I keep on getting emails saying that due to the pandemic, your shipment's being delayed. So I don't know when I'll be getting mine. I have a feeling all our anyone who bought it down in the US will probably get theirs way before I get mine.
I still got to order some, so I'm bad.
All good. I mean, it's all for fun, right? Tanya, what did you think of last week?
It was fun. It was great to see everyone, and I thought the banter was really fun, and it was good.
Yeah, Victor, how about you?
Yeah, I thought it'd be like herding cats, but it was definitely controlled chaos. I think we
take a shot at our listeners.
I think we've talked over each other in this small segment now than we did during that episode. I thought that was really, really well done, and for the most part, folks waited their turn, and it was very cordial.
Mm-hmm. For sure. I mean, we'll definitely do that again, and I'm looking forward to making that an end of season thing that we do every season. So that'll be good. And Matt, don't forget, Victor is a big fan of cats, so maybe herding cats for him is actually a good thing, not a bad thing. I don't know. Anyway,
I got nothing on that one. I got nothing.
It's a new season.
Just picturing a bunch of cats, and you can't herd those fuckers.
It's a new season, and that means some new news. And first thing I want to share is we have a new sponsor. We have a new sponsor for season 6. Now I know it's late, and we have our wine and our beers here. But Tanya, do you like coffee?
Yes.
Victor, do you like coffee?
I'd have a coffee.
Matt, do you like coffee?
I'm surprised we're not having a coffee right now.
Great, because Diabolical coffee is now being served at the produce stand. It's devilishly good coffee and diabolically awesome swag. Okay, I'm going to have a hard time with this, just like I did with Dennis's. There is a roast for all tastes, and even some you don't know you wanted. You can order whole bean, coarse, and standard grind, and espresso. Or if you're like Tanya and me, there's also a K-cup option for single cup brewers. And now for the duration of the season 6 of our podcast, you can use a promo code Produce Stand for 10% off anything in the store. So that's 10% off any coffee or merchandise. So big thanks to Diabolical Coffee for your support this season.
Woohoo!
And speaking of support, we have 59 new Twitter followers. I'm going to break this up in half because I missed the roll call last week. That's why we have so many this week. So I'll just list off half of them today. So welcome to Renzen, Adam Chapman, Graham Simmons, Sloan School of Music from Hagerstown, Maryland, B. Rad, Random Arborist. I almost read that one wrong. Thabisco Dube Clown. Melinda Cummings from Gatineau, Quebec, Evil Homer 101, Jonathan Penny from Cincinnati, John, Terry Clowater, John BLM Pencava from Canton, South Dakota, Mackenzie, Grateful Orphan, Bryce, Two Goats from New York, Ozawashquat, whatever, from Minnesota. Sorry, I can't read that. Liz at, might as well be Swedish. Russ Thysons, Ratch from Nashville. It is Swedish? You know who that is?
I don't know.
Oh. Intensive Care Bear from Memphis. Bonnie Lancaster, Farming Dad from Fisherville, Virginia, and D, as in DE. So Tanya, don't get distracted. Thank you very much for following and hopefully for listening.
Intensive Care Bear is the greatest thing I've heard all day.
Victor was going to fall off his chair.
Last week we had an amazing time at the first Letterkenny Ag Hall Social, and we can't wait to do that again. This week we recap and review the first episode of season 6, What Could Be So Urgent. So, Matt, have you done your homework?
I have.
Tanya, have you done your homework?
Yes, sir.
I did my homework. Victor, did you do your homework?
Indeed.
And Chad, did you do your homework?
I did. I remembered.
Well, I reminded you.
That too. Yeah.
That too.
All right, we start with a cold open, and this is a cold open that's kind of a throwback to the old Letterkenny Problems YouTube bits with Wayne, Derry, and Squirrely Dan telling their stories. Wayne starts off talking about a CrossFitter he watched flipping a tire down the street, being softer than a Cinnabon sampler. Derry talking about kissing a friend's older sister once who tasted like fisherman's friend, and now he does horn to that memory ever since. Squirrely Dan talks about how expensive upper bowl seats are at Leaf games. They can suck his Babcock, and et cetera, et cetera. It goes on. In one of the bits, Wayne talks about being sweet on his new gal if she forgets to close the third door of his truck before the passenger door one more time, though, it's fucking over. And it goes on for another little while, and then they involve some other characters like Rold, who treats them to a rap but doesn't impress anyone. Then Katie asks him where Stuart is, but Rold isn't talking. Wayne goes on to tell the story of a softball game in which Katie catches a line drive right in the Twiffer, according to Glenn. Katie is unimpressed. Cut to Riley and Jonesy in their Jeep. They think Twiffer is hilarious. Then Riley and Jonesy offer up their words of wisdom.
A, B, C, always B, lifting.
Also, road games. Sometimes there are two buddies to a room, but there's only one bed. Golden rule, you can sleep pole to pole.
And hole to hole.
But you can't sleep hole to hole.
You put the dumb in wisdom, don't you?
Chad's doing the sign language.
I love Squirrely Dan's like input at the end there.
You put the dumb in wisdom, don't you? The storytelling circle goes for another final round after Katie calls Riley and Jonesy a couple of fucking inbreds.
Fucking inbreds.
Inbred hot chili peppers.
Washington inbred skins.
Cincinnati inbreds.
Inbred Riding Hood. Inbred lobster.
Can we get this rig rolling?
Inbready, set, go.
And we cut to the theme. All right, that's the cold open. Matt, what did you think?
It was fun. I mean, it's you know what it is. I mean, we're in season 6. It feels like they're demo reel, and I mean that, and again, I mean it in a good way, because I mean they kind of highlight all their strengths. You know, they do the storytelling thing. They did the play on words, the banter, the attention to detail and all the little jabs and hints. They do it so well. I mean, this was a scripting brilliance in the opening here. Was it hilarious? No, I mean, I didn't laugh my ass off by any means. But I really enjoyed it because it really took me back. Like, I think you called it already. This takes back to the YouTube shorts and things like that. It really captured where this thing all started, and that really quick-witted banter. And no, I enjoy it. I thought it was a great open for season 6. Yeah, absolutely.
10?
I'm going to age myself, and probably no one else will be able to reference this. But it kind of had a feel of a hee-haw.
Yes.
Do you remember? Did you ever watch that? My parents were big into country shows and music and stuff when I was a kid. And Hee Haw, like, it had that kind of open where they panned over to someone else, and then the one-liner would be then fed to another person, and it just kind of hopped all over the place like that. So anyways, it kind of made me think back to Hee Haw's openings. I thought it was good.
Wow. Hold on.
What?
I haven't heard of Hee Haw. I looked it up. 1969.
Yeah,
No, it played well beyond that.
Yeah, it did. I remember watching it too. Yeah.
That's when they started.
Well, it might have started then, but it was still playing in the 80s because I remember watching it.
They landed on the moon and started Hee Haw. I mean, you know.
And I was born somewhere in between. So it went much longer than that. I am not that old. But yes, I thought it was cute. It was fun, and that's it. That's all.
That's interesting. I never thought about the Hee Haw comparison, but for sure, now that you bring it up, it does remind me of it. I think we've been spoiled with really brilliant cold opens. This one here went so long, and it was boring. The thing that saved it for me was the Riley and Jonesy thing, the pole to pole, hold to hold. That was pretty funny. Without that, it would have been such a dud. It's one of my least favorite cold opens so far. I was kind of, it's disappointing, especially to start off a season like that. I mean, I appreciated it being a callback to the Letterkenny problem YouTube shorts, but I thought those were way funnier than what they gave here. The only thing that saved this was that they threw in some Rolled and some Riley and Jonesy. So other than that, it was pretty. It was kind of very plain. I wouldn't say it's the worst cold open, but it's down there. Victor, what do you think?
Yeah, I think the Hee Haw reference is appropriate because I didn't find that show funny at all. And
okay, I was just taking a swig when you said that. You were also like just here from Russia, so you probably didn't understand most of the.
Yeah, I was more into the Three's Company. I learned my English watching Three's Company and WKRP in Cincinnati. But so that was more kind of up my alley. But no, I didn't find it funny at all. And it would have been fine if it wasn't so long.
Yeah, it was really long.
It just dragged on and dragged on, and finally we got those the goofballs and their with their stupid analogy, which all three of them are wrong. So I don't know. Like no, if you're sharing a room with a buddy and there's one bed, and one of you sleeps on the floor and the other one sleeps in the bed.
All right, well, there's that too.
He's not wrong.
No, you're not wrong.
Isn't there like an above the sheet and then the other one's below
there's
the
that
sheet?
too.
I thought that was also right.
Yeah, you can do that too.
Anyway, it was all right. I mean, for me, it doesn't kill the episode. But
No.
Pitter patter is the most appropriate thing I can think of.
Yeah. It didn't kill the episode, but it was long. So it was a big chunk of the episode. So,
but I like that they purposely called out that they knew it was going long. Like Katie made a reference.
Yeah, can we wrap this up? Yeah.
So they purposely went out of the way to call that out because even they knew they went on for a long time.
But it doesn't make it better.
No,
I'm not justifying it. I'm just helping the conversation.
All right.
Chad, what did you think?
Yeah, I thought it was a solid cold opening. I didn't think about it as a callback though. Like, you just blew my mind right now.
Oh,
I was like, that's like,
mind blasting.
Yeah, honestly, I was like, that is a callback. And then I thought it was pretty good. I mean, some of it's funny, some of it's like, okay, let's.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you think about previous cold opens, they've started other seasons with twice now with the alphabet aerobics,
right?
So you're expecting something epic like that, and what we got here felt not epic, long, epic in length, but not in anything else for me.
Yeah, I mean, some of it was pretty funny, like Rolled trying to rap, and you're like, get out of here, Rolled, move along.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it wasn't the greatest one. It's not one of my favorite ones, but it was good. It was good.
All right. We come out of the theme. Scene 1. Wayne is at a service station in Quebec. He's filling up with a couple of blue plaid brothers giving him the stink eye. A pickup pulls up and another blue plaid brother gets out and notices Wayne's Ontario plates. The two have a stare down. The French guy walks around behind Wayne's truck, stopping briefly at the tailgate before going up to the gas pump behind Wayne. Wayne doesn't move or turn around. He keeps pumping, and then the French guy turns back and enters the service station with the other two. Wayne finishes pumping, returns the hose, and closes his gas cap. He looks at his rear license plate. The Ontario has been crossed off in black marker. So Wayne unbuttons his shirt sleeves in preparation and walks into the service station. And you cut to the next scene. Wayne walks out of the service station. The camera moves in to reveal the three French guys. Two of them are out cold, and the third one is on one knee trying to get up. This is all set to music, basically, and slow motion. There's no dialogue. And
we don't see the fight this time either.
Yeah.
Just the aftermath.
No, you're right. I mean, it was 3-on-1. Like that would have been an interesting fight to stage. Next scene, still in Quebec at the Fleur de Lis Motel, Wayne and Marie Fred are having a meal. Marie thanks Wayne for making the trip that weekend, and Wayne thanks her for making the trip the previous weekend. Marie Fred says she looks forward to the trip next weekend, so obviously they've been dating now for a while. They're interrupted by a rude waitress who takes their drink while scoffing. Takes their drink order while scoffing and making fun of Wayne's French. After she leaves, Wayne comments to Marie Fred that the waitress was being a bit of a cow. They return to the discussion, which involved rehashing a story that McMurray told in the season 5 finale.
So anywho, McMurray told me that he was at the airport one time and he seen a dude in the washroom at the urinal and he was working his iPad while he
Pissed?
rocked one, yeah.
You can say it, just don't make a habit of it.
It's exercise 10-4.
The dude was at the airport with his iPad on top of the urinal and he was working on it while he rocked one?
Can confirm.
What could be so urgent?
That's what I said. I said, what could be so urgent?
No.
The season continues with this Tarantino-esque dialogue between Wayne and Marie Fred as they go on to brainstorm scenarios that might justify the urgency required for someone to need to be working an iPad while simultaneously rocking a piss. Marie Fred wonders if he was just checking on his flight. Wayne thinks there's got to be more at stake than a missed flight. Wayne finally gets around to his theory.
This nutsack is one in a chain of commanding political figures with access to the codes to greenlight a nuclear strike.
That's who he is.
And he had to get his portion of the codes in immediately so that the warheads could take flight.
Why is he firing a warhead?
Well, someone would have had to fire a warhead first, right? You know, if I'm that dude at the airport, my dick out working on my iPad, I mean, the whole fucking world's at stake.
There's multiple warheads?
Both sides would have to have warheads in the air or projectiles if it's nuclear war, yes.
Those are some stakes.
What else could be so urgent?
Not much else could be so urgent.
So the political chain of command had already entered their portion of the codes, and they just needed, we'll call him Gary, to enter his portion of the codes. What?
I wonder how Gary's working it.
What are we talking about here, like the iPad or the horn?
Both.
Both.
Curious as to whether he had one hand on his horn and one on the iPad, because if he's pissing hands-free, then he'd get the codes typed in much faster.
Oh, way faster.
At least twice as fast.
Yeah, and he's in a hurry for sure because of the codes.
Yeah.
Wayne and Marie Fred's conversation is interrupted by her brother Jean-Claude and his cousin Jean Lance. The two blue plaid brothers proceed to make fun of Wayne's French. They're joined by the rude waitress, and the rest of the diners all have a laugh at Wayne's expense. Wayne suggests that the blue plaid brothers should go sit down and drink their beer. Jean-Claude wonders out loud, what if he doesn't? Well, then Wayne says he'd have to put his beer down, wouldn't he? This gets a smile from Marie Fred. Cut to the next scene. Scene 3, back at the...
1 second.
Oh, yeah. Go ahead.
1 second. I get, like, using your iPad in the bathroom, but, like, why would you use the urinal? Why wouldn't you use the shitter like a normal person? You know, like the toilet.
So this is just that.
Like, go in the stall, use the stall.
Because
I think we get into this later. Like, he was already in the moment, and he had to deal with the situation.
Yeah, but prior to this, why not go in the toilet in the stall and use that?
Have two hands
if we're
on
going
it.
far, if we're gonna go that far, though, who the hell carries an iPad to the fucking urinal? That is a hard thing to do in itself.
By questioning,
fit in your pocket.
You're legitimizing an already absurd scenario.
No, this is not absurd.
Okay, we're gonna get to this. Okay,
Anyway.
hold all comments to the end there. Scene 3, back at the farmhouse in Ontario. Derry walks out to some slow motion, melancholic music to have a smoke. He stares out contemplatively as some sheets hanging outside in the laundry line. From behind the sheets emerges a Nick in a white bikini. Inexplicably, there's a sprinkler going perilously close to the drying laundry. A Nick is getting wet and slow-mo walking toward Derry. He stares at her with a dumb look. She goes right up to him, and just before they kiss, Derry wakes up from his dream to Squirrely Dan commenting on his semi-erection, and there's also a dog playing on top of Derry's lap.
He's got a semi. Yep, don't lay down for a nap on the couch without a pillow for your lap. Probably didn't want me walking in here seeing you all half torqued like that.
Nope.
Yeah, it's probably no fun for the dog to have to climb over your thixies just to give you a kiss in the face. All right. Come on, girl. Why don't we go? Let's leave the half-blood prince to his little sleeps.
I just got that now.
I love that.
I just got that now.
Derry tries to go back to sleep, but someone else enters the room. It's a Nick. She asks if he had a good nap. He had a good nap. She asks if he'll nap with her. Derry says he's already had a nap. What an idiot. And Nick responds, then we don't sleep, and walks off, leaving Derry there giggling. Production note, do Derry and Squirrely Dan live on the farm as well? Like, they're always there, but it's because they're friends with Wayne or they work together. But in this case, Wayne's in Quebec, so why would they be at the farm napping and having sex at the farm if they didn't also
That's what I was wondering. I was like, wait, does Derry actually live there?
Yeah. That's
maybe Derry's helping out while Wayne's away.
like house sitting or whatever. I get it. Yeah, that makes
I mean, maybe they just went into the guest bedroom.
But again, Wayne's in Quebec. Why are they even there? I mean, with
they just want to hang out at the farm. All right.
Maybe they're trading places.
If I'm with a Nick, I want to be alone. I don't want to be anywhere near Squirrely Dan or any of the dogs or Katie. Next scene.
Don't want to be near Squirrely Dan.
No. At the gym, Riley and Jonesy are watching some snipes working out when Dax and Ron accost them.
Sure we can't convince you guys to sign with the summer squad?
I got a pen you can borrow. You know the one.
Take my writing utensil.
We got a big hole up the center and it needs to be filled.
Back end's tight, but we need to be deeper up front.
Let's talk depth. I'll show you a thing or two.
Join our energy line.
Keep those fucking feet moving. I'm so fucking serious right now.
The four dudes get to talking about all the tail that's come home from college for the summer. They start arguing over who can get laid more.
Like, can we take down more babes than you?
Can you take down more babes than we can take down dudes?
I'm gonna jerk off right here, as for the fucking Christ.
Buddy, no contest.
Save your money, boys.
But are you guys like married though?
We just wanted to buy a house. Tax breaks there.
We still smash all sorts of ass.
Never smashed so much ass in my life.
Cool.
So fucking cool.
So they make a bet to see who will have more takedowns, and the winner gets a case of beer.
I think I asked if they were married at the same time Derry asked.
Yeah,
Not Derry.
Aren't they married?
Yeah.
Scene 5. At the new Modine's 3, Marie Fred is at the bar with Wayne. Bonnie goes to take their drink order. Bonnie mocks Marie Fred's high dare. Wayne tells Bonnie that it's not a good look. As Bonnie walks off to get their drinks. Come on.
She was being a bit of a cow, eh?
That's McMurray's sister. She comes by it honestly.
She's pretty.
Well, she's a little girl, for the most part.
So much petty hostility between English and French.
It's a bit obnoxious, isn't it?
I'm glad we agree on that.
As long as we can also agree that French toast is a waste of time.
So are English muffins?
There you go.
The two lovebirds down their shots, and then they return to the launch codes conversation.
You're Gary.
Mm-hmm.
One of the other three commanding government officials says we need the codes. Stat. This is it, Gary. Nuclear war.
Jesus Christ, it's nuclear war.
What do you do?
Well, I'd piss myself.
Bingo.
Well, I'd have to go, at the very least.
Of course you would.
I don't know if I'd be able to hold it, but I'd be saying, whoa, you better fucking hold on to her.
It's an appropriate physical response to news of incoming warheads.
It'd be alarming.
But let's not forget, you're Gary.
Yeah. Yeah, you got responsibilities if you're Gary.
You've got the codes.
Whole country's counting on you if you're Gary. Women and children. The elderly.
So, if you're Gary, you get the call for the codes.
Say holy shit.
You'd say holy shit.
I'm gonna piss myself.
But it's nuclear war. Despite nuclear war, all this at stake, Gary's still pissing while he puts in the codes.
You wanna know what?
What?
Washroom had to have been right there.
It had to have been right there.
He might already been in the washroom.
I think he was already in there.
You're Gary. You're in the washroom. Get the call. Need the codes. I'm gonna piss myself.
And he got his iPad as fast as he got his dick out.
He was for sure already in the washroom.
Might have already been on the iPad.
Well, that solves it. It was a convenience thing then.
Bonnie comes back with their drinks and to take a few more shots at Marie Fred's English. Marie Fred suggests that Bonnie should go sit down and drink her wine. Bonnie asks what if she doesn't. Marie responds with, then I'd have to put my wine down. And that gets a smile from Wayne. Next scene 6. Back at the farm, the Hicks are at the produce stand. Katie announces that it's bush party season. Then she gets up to make some Caesars with Marie Fred and a Nick to gear up for a gooder. Squirrely Dan goes with her, leaving Wayne and Derry alone. Derry sidles over to Wayne for a private chat.
Between us girls.
Yeah, between us girls.
You ever thrown so much hip in your life?
Between us girls?
Yeah, between us girls.
I never thrown so much hip in my life.
How much hip are we talking?
Talking like I'll be halfway through a bowl of cereal and...
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man.
Same for you?
Oh, yeah.
Is that right?
Between us girls?
Of course, between us girls.
Feel like we met. I punched in. I haven't punched out.
Ask you something?
Of course, good buddy.
Feel like you're getting made better at it?
Feel like I'm getting a lot better at it.
Me too. Like I kind of feel like I was a bit of a novice with the whole thing before.
Feel that way too. Feel like with some of the gals that I've done some yesing with in the past, they might have thought, this guy's a dabbler.
Derry, that's exactly how I feel. Like I feel like they might have seen me as a hopeful, at the very least. But like maybe I was just apprenticing at the time.
Kind of feel like I might be a bit of a headliner now.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
What are we talking, like large theaters or stadiums?
Well, large theaters for the time being.
But like, if you keep going at the rate you're going, you'll be destined for like bigger venues. Yeah, that's exactly how I feel. That's how I feel too.
Marie, Fred, and Nick call out asking the Hicks if they want a Caesar, and they both accept. Then Derry asks if Stuart is going to DJ the Bush party, and Wayne comments on how he hasn't seen the fucking nutsack in the longest time. Derry wonders where he's off to. Cut to scene 7, a dark nightclub. We see Gay drinking from a vodka bottle and dealing drugs to someone. Then the reveal finally happens. Stuart turns around. The long hair is gone. The skid uniform is gone. He looks normal. Rold is with him, also looking less skittish, and we fade to black. All right. That's the episode. Matt, you're up first. What did you think of this episode?
It was all right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I know you. I think we were totally misaligned on the opening. I liked the opening. It didn't make me laugh by any means, but I appreciated and loved what they did in the opening.
Mm-hmm.
After that, there wasn't a lot that excited me. Personally, I love the conversation, the ongoing, as ridiculous as it was, between Mary, Fred, and Wayne. That and I felt like I needed to be high to have that conversation and listen to it. I feel like had I smoked a joint before watching this episode, I would have laughed a lot more because, I've had conversations. Like, I like to theorize everything I see in the world. I get yelled at on the regular for, mind your fucking business, and just like, cause I'll make up stories like, oh, wonder if they're doing this and this and this. And I get it. It's fun to theorize. So that's what they're doing. So I totally related to that. But there was a lot of challenges. I think one comment I made, I actually wrote this one down, is that I feel like maybe because we're in season 6, that some of their like sort of standard lines, like can confirm, Texas size 10-4, they're starting to feel forced in scenarios, and don't feel as natural. And that like, there was a conversation that Mary, Fred, and him were having. Those two lines that came up when they first started, when they were sitting in the restaurant or whatever, and he said that Texas size 10-4, and then can confirm, but they just felt so like unnatural. Whereas in the early episodes, like, it felt like it was really funny, and you weren't expecting it. They came out and you laughed your ass off. They just feel kind of placed, and less and because of that makes those moments feel less genuine. I still love those conversations, but that was just something I made note of. But I will say, Wayne, you're dead fucking wrong. French toast. That's my happy place.
Absolutely.
And I took some real offense to that line.
Yeah, and I like an English muffin, so that was uncalled for.
I'm for there.
Tanya, what'd you think?
I struggled with the show. It was just a whole lot of talk about this person at the urinal with the iPad, and I'm like, okay, we talked about it once, and then now here we go again twice, and here we go again 3 times, and it's like it's the new ants on Sea-Doos. Yeah, it wasn't an interesting enough conversation, or the banter wasn't very witty in order to keep my attention on that conversation that was just repeating. The only interesting parts of that was the kind of French versus English, and those scenarios that were into the conversations. That was the only thing that was of interest during the conversations. And I honestly think if we are going to talk about the whole pissing at a urinal one-handed while rocking a piss and putting in the coats, I mistype with 2 fingers and typing out a telephone number. So if something was that important where you were putting in codes for rocket launching, the country would be dead, because I would absolutely put in the wrong number. So that's what I have to say about that.
That's what I was saying. Like, I'd rather be sitting down. I'd rather be sitting down, both hands free.
You're not wrong.
Instead of like, one hand holding the D and the other hand typing.
But is that too heavy-handed to be launching a missile and dropping a bomb at the same time?
Oh, Jesus. It's a little
I'm just still blown away at how many people, and this is, obviously, maybe there's launching nuclear weapons, but I've seen way too many people answer phones and do things at the urinal. I'm like, well, hey, that's just why. Why couldn't that wait 15 seconds more? Like, it's fucking weird, man, and it creeps me out. And I'll be on the shitter, and I've heard people at the urinal having a full-on conversation. I'm like, you got your dick in one hand and the phone in the other. It's not okay.
And the sound.
No.
So that whole scenario is so unrealistic, not because of anything more than the fact that you wouldn't be able to get an app like that on the App Store. An app to launch nuclear missiles, that wouldn't be allowed on the App Store.
Well, it depends on your security. You're not considering your level of security here.
If it's a government laptop,
that's what makes it unrealistic.
No, there could be a nuclear launch code app on the dark web, and you don't know
Apple
about
won't
it.
allow it. Apple won't allow it.
It's like the red phone. There could be a red iPod. You don't know.
That could be on an Android device because you can always side boot
Like
or
the
whatever.
bat phone?
But not on Apple. Apple, you can't do that.
Awesome will argue that they're using Linux.
There you go. All right. So apart from my issue with the cold open, this episode is got a lot of. I knew you were going to have a hard time with that conversation. It's the new Anton Sidhu's. The conversation, the first time I watched it, I hated it. Every subsequent watch, though, I understood it a bit more and more. First of all, comparing it to like a Tarantino scene, I totally I don't know this for a fact, but it really felt like that's what they were going for, like that kind of Tarantino dialogue where they're just
like a Royale with cheese kind of stuff.
Yeah, just back and forth talking about just mulling over the exact same thing over and over and over again until it's either really funny or really fucking annoying. Unfortunately, it fell on the side of annoying for me, but I understood it. The other good thing, though, about those scenes, I think, is it really, really showed off that relationship between Wayne and Marie Fred. I think it really showed the dynamic between the two of them, how they're going to be with each other, why they're together, because they're such a good fit together, personality wise.
They're so cute. They're so damn cute.
They're cute, but they're also like she keeps him in his place, and by the way, I don't know if you guys noticed, but that's the least squinty we've ever seen Wayne. That episode there, he hardly ever squints. If you watch that episode again, he's almost like wide-eyed Wayne in that entire episode, which is kind of weird because it doesn't even look like the same character sometimes when he's playing it. I really enjoyed the whole mirroring the scene in Quebec with the French people making fun of Wayne's French, and then again in Ontario, the Ontarians making fun of Marie Fred's English. I think that's a really good and subtle way to say that, you know what, both sides are to blame, not just one side. Yeah. So that was kind of a nice way to do it. This whole episode, though, was saved by that last scene with Wayne and Derry. That was brilliant. I loved that scene. The Wayne and Derry talking about how much hip they threw, and then how they feel like they can play larger venues. Loved it. That was the most brilliant part of this whole episode, was that scene, and the whole episode's worth it just for that scene. Victor, what'd you think? Yeah, Victor doesn't think so.
So, I mean, what made Pulp Fiction one of the greatest movies ever is that between all the chaos that was happening, is they were having these interlude conversations.
Yeah.
And so it created this balance of back and forth. And yeah, 100% that they were trying to go for that kind of a feel here. But the problem is they made the conversation the thing. Mm-hmm. And you're supposed to, it's supposed to be the pepper and salt. Like even comparing it to the Anton Skidoo's, mm-hmm. those were used as interludes amongst the bigger story.
Right.
Here they made the conversation the story, and that's mm-hmm. where the cut for me goes off the rails. Mm-hmm. So it could have been the greatest conversation ever, and it still wouldn't have worked. You can pick it apart. I don't even care about the fact about how ridiculous the conversation was, because you're right. It wasn't about the topic. It was to show the dynamic between the two of them. Mm-hmm. But you didn't have to make the episode so focused on a conversation. That could have been one of 3 stories. That could have been one of 2 stories even. Mm-hmm. But that was the main one. I mean, they could have just showed them sleeping in bed in the appropriate position, just to show that things were going well.
Pull the hole.
Yeah, exactly. Or pull the hole. So you know what I mean? Like
it better not be pull to pull.
Yeah. Well,
or then there's something about Murray Fred we don't know about. Not that there's anything wrong with that.
No, that would be the crying game. So that's I'm dating us for that reference. But anyway, so yeah, I mean that's what I have to share.
Mm-hmm. Chad.
I mean, it's not a great episode.
Mm-hmm.
It's not one of the better ones. I enjoyed it. Seeing cleaned up Stewart, I love cleaned up Stewart.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if there had to be in his contract, one season he had to look normal instead of super skinny. So
super skinny. Yeah, you guys kept that a secret for a very long time. I was quite surprised.
He looks really good cleaned up, and I love it when he's cleaned up like that.
Yeah.
But I don't know, it's not a great episode. Again, I would have preferred to I would have just gone down and just sat on the shitter if I was Gary.
You're fixated on that.
Yeah, you're really bothered by that one little.
If you take anything from this episode,
Honestly,
take that Chad would have sat on the shitter.
Who doesn't go on the shitter and look at their phone for 20 minutes? When you're
that's my daily escape, brother.
And then you're oh shit, I should probably get back to work.
I still don't think you can get that app on the app store. Sorry.
The government would know.
Dark web.
Also, there's not enough Squirrely Dan in this episode, and made me upset.
Yeah, you're right. There's very little Squirrely Dan, and
he's in there total of 30 seconds.
And there's only a flash of Glenn there too when he makes the Twiffer comment. Yeah, for sure. The one thing about the dialogue that Murray, Fred, and Wayne were having, that's totally stoner dialogue. You gotta think that's Kiesel and Tierney lighting up a bowl and just having and recording whatever they're talking about and saying this is what we're gonna make Wayne and Murray Fred talk about, and because it's just such.
But see, that's what I appreciate about coming from a former full-on stoner back in the day. That was the kind of shit we would talk about. Mm-hmm. So that really made me laugh because I'm like, I've had legitimate, ridiculous conversations like that, and they're the best thing in the world. So, yeah,
they're super fun.
Yeah,
as a part stoner, they're pretty fun. Also, I have a few things. I still like it how before they started talking about between us girls, and then they both started looking around.
At some point, he looks up and
looks behind Terry looks behind the produce stand. I love that. That was hilarious.
That was my favorite scene. It was such a good scene. And
to be fair,
it rescued the episode.
To be fair,
there's various characters often materialize
from behind. You're right. Yeah. So I wonder if that's a nod to that, because you're right. Yeah.
Dan shows up a few times from back there, and so does
Gail.
Yeah.
You have any other notes?
I mean, that's about it. I mean, Rolled also looks a little bit different, from the at the end there to the the cold opening. If you notice it.
Right. Yeah. Well,
he's very skitty in the cold opening, and then he looks cleaned up ish.
Yeah.
So
true enough. Yeah. All right, we're gonna go to.
I do love Mary, Fred, and Wayne. They are
they make sense. And
Mary, Fred, Mary, Fred, and Wayne is definitely my favorite couple. That Mary, Fred is definitely my favorite person for Wayne, and I'm not going to spoil it for
don't
Victor and Tanya, but I have thoughts.
Better than Riley and Jonesy.
No, we're talking just for Wayne.
For Wayne.
Oh, okay.
Riley and Jones is the best couple in the entire show.
I totally agree.
Yeah, a lot of discussion.
They're one person.
A lot of discussion about who would be Wayne's best match, whether it was Angie, whether it was Rosie, whether it's Marie Fred, whether it's Derry for some fucking reason. If you're
the only thing,
you had to be on the Twitter DM group this week to.
The only thing with Angie is you don't really see him with Angie, so you can't really. The only really people you see him with is Mary, Fred.
Yeah,
but that doesn't complicate. It doesn't make things more complicated.
Yeah,
Tanis.
We know.
Oh, yeah, and Tanis.
I mean Tanis too, but
yeah, Tannis is my list.
They
A hit and run. So,
Matt, what's your rating for this? What do you give this episode?
All right, hold on. Before I give my rating, let's start with a couple good. So I was really happy for Derry in this episode. I don't think we've talked about this. He got the girl. He's having a good time.
He got the girl. Holy.
Yeah. So let's not dismiss that. We haven't mentioned that at all. Yeah. I'm really happy for Derry.
If I'm what's his name? Nathan, what's his last name? The actor who plays Derry. I'm high five. I'm
Nathan Dale.
Yeah, Nathan Dale.
I'm high fiving everybody.
Yeah, I'm like, thank you, Jared. Thank you.
Yeah,
thank you,
right.
Jared.
That was an offline conversation for sure. Derry or Nathan, you're getting the girl. Yeah, right. Like, so very happy for him. I actually really loved the truck scene, even at the beginning there when they threw it down.
That's very related. That's relatable for sure.
I like that one a lot. The episode as a whole was very disconnected. It honestly, this feels like one of those ones that we'd throw in the middle and call a filler episode where we really didn't understand why they did it. They kind of concept a little bit, played with this dynamic. And yes, they definitely showcase how great of a couple those two are, because they really are a blast. But it was all over the place. Even you already mentioned, Al, the very brief glimpse of Glenn that almost felt pointless. I was expecting, once I saw that, to see him more. It was all over the place. Yes, it all led up to the big ending when you saw Stuart and you're like, oh, what the fuck is going on? Let's find out. But I think it's an uphill battle. And Between Us Girls was the greatest scene in the whole thing. I totally agree. Did it save the episode? No. So I'm giving it a compost.
Wow. You went all the way to the compost with this one.
Yeah. I feel bad because I still love it. I thought there was some great writing in this one, but if I'm putting on the scale of what I loved to what I didn't love, this definitely fell short. And it just felt very kind of all over the place. It's like they were trying to play their best hits, but missed the beat. And it's unfortunate because it's so great, but yeah, this would fall into my compost on this one.
Tanya.
Ow.
What do you give this one?
I think I also need to point out another comment about the Ontario license plate going into Quebec, and how that is very much a call out to Ontarians in Quebec. I loved how they kind of zoomed in on the plate and that it was scratched out. And there seems to be either an unsung
unspoken kind of thing between Ontarians and I don't think it's unspoken. I think it's very spoken. Yeah. It's just spoken in different languages.
And if you take the whole iPod rocking a piss out of the equation and only look at that whole kind of conversation with Quebec versus English or French versus English, that and the whole Derry thing and the whole Wayne thing conversation at the end with the hip and all that, I think it pulls it out of a compost. And I think it kind of sits it into a clearance. It's certainly not a fresh. It doesn't go that far. It wasn't a great episode, but for what they were trying, the points that they were trying to make and the relationship building there and the sneak peek at Stuart. Clearance.
Okay. Interesting. All right, let's see. I'm undecided. It's not a fresh for sure. For me, it's not a fresh. So now I'm thinking the only other episode I've ever given a compost to is Fart Book, and rightfully so. So does this one belong down there? I'm having a hard time just because that the throwing hip scene might have saved it for me. The rocking a piss with the iPad, yeah, that conversation was tiresome. But again, the purpose there was to show the relationship between Marie, Fred, and Wayne, and I thought it did a really good job of doing that. I really appreciated the slow-mo scenes with a Nick, of
course you would.
Yeah, and so I think
Wife's right beside you.
But she appreciates any scene with Wayne in them. So
And now Stuart.
Stuart. So there you go. And wait till she.
Wasn't that slow motion scene in Inside a Dream?
Yeah. Whatever. But then she woke.
It's just still a scene.
Yeah. And then she woke up. She woke him up and said, "Come and have a nap with me, where we don't sleep."
Squirrely Dan woke him up.
Squirrely, yeah. Settle down. Get it right.
Anyway,
it was but if it was the perfect shout out, because often they have that whole theory. You always hear, "Oh, it's only in my dreams," but he had his dream, and he woke up, and his dream was his reality.
Yeah, Then she was still there. So, so there was.
I was confused about that for a while, by the way.
Yeah.
Then I said, "Okay, whatever."
And for a moment there, when she first walked in the room, I thought it was Katie. And then I'm like, oh no, it's her. Nick's there. Okay, so this is anyway. It's a clearance. I'm going to give it a clearance because there's still enough there to not warrant a compost. I think there was still a lot of strong thing. What was strong in this episode was really strong. What was weak was not enough to drag it down. So I'm going to give it a clearance. Victor, how about you?
This episode was episode 2, 3, 4, or 5. I would give it a solid clearance. But because this is the season opener, we've come to expect over the last 3 seasons just wonder and awe, and we were expecting to be hit with something like that in its 6th season. It was just such a disappointment afterwards. It's not like there was anything tremendously bad about it. It was fine. It's not like I struggled to get to the end. It was fine.
Mm-hmm.
It was just disappointing. I just thought oh, okay, well, that was okay.
Yeah. But what's the season opener for, right? Other than to set up the stories for this season, right? So the stories are Wayne and Marie Fred and the new Stuart, right? So I think it set things up, right? So
yeah, but it didn't do it. It didn't do it effectively.
No.
All I'm saying is that on the Letterkenny scale, with again in our kind of little universe that we're in, for me, I expect a lot more for a season 6 opener, and therefore I have to agree with Matt begrudgingly.
Oh,
and give it.
Sorry, you cut out there. You said clearance, right?
And therefore I have to agree with Matt begrudgingly and give it a comment.
I liked hearing him say I agree with Matt again. That felt good.
that is weird.
Wow, two combos.
This is throwing me off.
I know, right? It's
like deja vu.
Yeah, it's the upside down. Chad, what did you think?
So I in my notes I had this as a fresh, but hearing you guys speak about it, I'm definitely
shit. Oh shit! I'm behind
the show. I think clearance is a good one. It's not the strongest opener of a show. It's definitely felt like this should have been a middle of the season episode. At least the parts between Mary, Fred, and Wayne, that should have been they should have set up hey, they're together, not shit, they're together right away. And then the conversation was not solid. It's definitely not one of my favorite episodes. It was a good episode. The Between Us Girls is pretty funny. And
Between Us Girls, I appreciate that you abandoned your fresh.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Between Us Girls, I think, did it even last a minute though of the entire episode?
No, it was
that was a good 3-4 minutes of the episode.
It was a good scene though.
I don't know.
Well,
exaggerating.
We also forget about the gym scene between Daxie, Ron, and
I thought you would appreciate some of that scene there, Victor, especially the hockey references, join the energy.
It was good, but it was just rehash. I don't know, it was okay, good. Nothing new here. Keep on walking. Nothing to see here, kind of thing.
The Between Us Girls and Daxie, Ronzi, Riley, and Jonesy, those two scenes. Definitely that was kind of why I was leaning towards the fresh, but also everything else just kind of didn't really land. The little bit of the talk about Gary.
I love that they gave him a name and a backstory.
Yeah,
he is.
Also gave him a name too.
Yeah.
But it kept it it was okay. This is getting a little long. The second time you see it, definitely when they're at Modine's talk about a different subject. I don't give a shit about Gary, kind of a thing.
So here's what I want you all to do. If you ever go in and see a guy rocking one at a urinal and he has his iPad or phone out, I want you to say, "Hey, Gary," like just yell it out. "Hey, Gary," and see.
I like that.
Right?
Hey, Gary.
Hey, Gary.
What are the launch codes? Yeah.
What up, Gary?
What are the launch codes?
Okay, so we have 3 clearances and 2 composts. Wow, this is I don't think we've ever had this kind of turnout. Even Fartbook had 2 freshes, so that was weird.
Well, I mean, they were misguided fresh.
I mean, some people don't know the rest of the show, but it does set up the rest of the season, though.
It does, yeah. So it works as a season 1.
Knowing what happens next,
yeah,
it does set up the rest of the season decently well. But as an episode by itself, it is not like one of the best episodes. It's not an episode that I will go like, I just want to rewatch one episode.
Yeah.
Unlike Canadian Gooses, like I'll just rewatch that episode, like whenever I like feel down or whatever. But like, it was just like, it's not a good, it was good setting up, but it was just by itself. It's not a good episode.
Well, we're not trying to talk you out of this one, Chad. We mostly agree with you.
Yeah.
So this, needless to say, is probably not touching anyone's top 5. Am I correct in saying that, Matt?
Agreed.
Tanya?
Agree.
Not mine either. Victor?
No.
And Chad, obviously not in your top.
Definitely not mine.
So let's talk about the Postage Store MVP for this episode. Matt, who would you give it to?
Fuck, I forgot about that thing. Oh my God.
Come on. Can I say it for you?
Come on.
Yeah, go for it.
Derry.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Derry.
Because he got a girlfriend.
Well, I
you were
loved
so
him,
excited about that.
I was excited for him. All right, you know what? I'll give it to you. I'll give it to you. I hadn't thought about that. Clearly, I'm not following my own thinking. So yeah, let's go with Derry because he found love, or he found a lay. He's having a good time either way.
He's throwing hip.
He's throwing lots of
hip. He's well deserved. He's been looking for it for a while. And
He's rocking a semi on the couch.
She's a winner too, so good for him. And yeah, so I'm gonna steal it. I'm gonna let you pick my pick. So thank you, Tanya. It's gonna be Derry.
Tanya, what's yours? And if it isn't Derry, how dare you?
It is Derry. For sure it's Derry.
That'd be so fantastic if it wasn't, though.
I know, right? It's whoever's behind the produce stand.
All right, mine is going to go to Marie Fred. I thought she was pretty solid in this episode, and just the amount of dialogue she had with Wayne in those scenes. As much as I didn't like the dialogue in the scenes, she held her own with Wayne. I thought they were well acted scenes, and you can see mutual respect and love between the two of them. I like how she puts him in his place, like when he's talking. He's hesitating to say rock a piss, but she's like, you can say it, but just this, or don't make a habit out of it. That kind of, those little touches here and there were kind of, and we'll see a lot more of the relationship Wayne and Marie Fred, little things that they do, little details in their relationship that makes it obnoxiously cute relationship. So I'm going to give this one to her since it's kind of her introduction to the show. Victor?
Well, I was going to give it to Gary, but since
we don't see him, but
yeah, but since that's going to create controversy, I'm gonna have to give this one to Glenn.
Glenn?
What?
Victor, sort yourself out.
You're such a contrarian. I swear to God. You're such a.
Do you understand the concept?
He's a brat. He's being a brat. Really? You're going to give it to Glenn?
I'm not. When have you ever heard it referred to that way until Glenn said it?
What, the Twiffer?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
The Twiffer is the best line in the whole show.
It's good. I laughed my ass off at Twiffer. I'm not going to lie.
That is literally the only time I laughed out loud. So I have to give it. So I'm not even trying to be difficult here. I'm thinking. I looked back and I said, "What is the line that made me laugh in this episode?"
Wow.
So I got to give it to the man.
Okay, Glenn, the most efficient MVP that you could win with one line goes to Glenn.
I have a new game. Name the MVP that Victor's going to choose, and you have to. Yeah,
we should write it down and then reveal it afterwards. Yeah, we'll do that for next time.
New game, for sure.
Chad, who's your MVP?
Not gonna lie, Victor. I did put Gary.
See, now that makes sense.
Honestly, there was like no character that I was like, none of these people like landed it for me, except for Gary.
Well, Gary's a hero. We need more Garys in the world.
That's right.
I do. On my notes, I have Gary as a fucking hero.
That's awesome. I love it.
Gary's my MVP.
Well done.
He's just there.
Yeah.
Again, not enough squirrely
thinking right there.
So. Awesome.
Would you like to change your vote,
right
Matt?
there,
No, I'm still Team Derry this one. But that was Chad. Chad took the win on his answer.
I'll give it to you. Derry did win this one though. So.
Yeah, he may have won the whole season. Let's see here. All right,
honestly,
let's move on to listener comments. We have a new iTunes review, a very efficient one. All it says is 5 stars. I appreciate you guys, and that's it. And that's from Trey from the Guys Review podcast. Thank you, Trey, for the efficient review. We appreciate you as well. And then we have a couple of news items here. First of all, the town of Listowel, Ontario, pays tribute to 2 of their favorite sons with Keeso Lane and Connors Drive. So they got 2 streets named after the 2 most famous people from Listowel. One, Jared Keeso, which Keeso Lane's perfect. Like, there must have been a lot of high-fiving around the table when they came up with that one. And Connors Drive is actually also perfect because it's named after Corey Connors, a PGA, a golfer, basically. So, well done there, Listowel. Nicely done. Also, Rolling Stone magazine has put out a list of the 100 best sitcoms of all time. And guess what? Letterkenny is on the list.
Ew.
Number 83. Ahead of...
They gotta pump those numbers up.
Monster shows
gotta
like...
be number 1.
Well...
Is it ahead of Three's Company and WKRP in Cincinnati?
Okay. I believe it was ahead of WKRP, which, yeah. So this list, I mean, I don't know who made the list or how they went about it, because there's a lot of amazing, huge sitcoms that I would have ranked, even ahead of Letterkenny that were behind Letterkenny. So, for example, Schitt's Creek, Night Court, Modern Family, Big Bang Theory were all behind. Although I wouldn't have put Big Bang Theory ahead of.
Big Bang Theory definitely belongs off the list,
right?
Yes.
No, but it is a mega show that finished below Letterkenny. So for that,
are we talking about popularity or quality, right?
Yeah, who knows? I don't know what they're like. Night Court is one of my all-time favorites, and I think it should have been way higher than it was.
Yeah, we love
number
Night
1?
Court, but it may suffer from some.
I swear to God, if Friends is number 1.
Well, hold on, I'll get to that in a second. One of the big things that was left off the list that also kind of got a lot of people questioning the validity of this list was Married with Children was not on the list.
Oh,
as one of
it's broke for sure.
Yeah, so I mean, it's a questionable list, but let's not Letterkenny's on there, so that's good news.
That's fair.
And the other thing that might make this list questionable is who finished number 1, and that was The Simpsons.
What?
So yeah,
it's not even a sitcom.
That's not a sitcom.
Well,
fuck out of here.
No, you can't. You can't.
It's not a fucking sitcom.
Are we just calling comedy? Is the list just comedy?
I guess because it's
calling it a comedy.
South Park, I believe, was in the top 10, and I think they also had Family Guy. So yeah,
I would remove all cartoons out of there.
Mhm.
No,
Yeah,
but it's not the same.
That's
It's
a
just not
different
the same.
genre
So
for sure.
write your hate mail to Rolling Stone magazine.
I will,
and
that's
we'll get awesome on it.
Yeah. She's already on it. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
She's like, why the fuck is Letterkenny number 1? You should get watching this.
We can probably do a whole podcast about talking about the list.
Yeah, you know what? We should maybe that'll be one of the ones after between seasons or something, because I have a lot of time for lists like this.
I will trash every show on that list that isn't How I Met Your Mother. So
Well, that one was on there. I don't remember where it ranked, but it was on there. But for sure, the fact that Married with Children was not that's a bit of not a bit.
Yeah,
that's
but
a huge
that's
oversight.
I don't know. I mean, I loved Married with Children, but I can see a lot of people not liking that show. It's just like you don't like Seinfeld, which doesn't make any sense. But there's,
Victor, I don't like Seinfeld, but it's in the top 10, and I agree it should be in the top 10. Just because I don't like it doesn't mean I don't understand that it's important.
Yeah, but Seinfeld is for everybody, whereas Married with Children is is guy humor. It's guy humor. I can't see a lot of women out there.
It was a groundbreaking show for the time, so on that alone, it should have been made it.
It's still very chauvinist and all that.
You're right. You're right, but so is what's his name, Archie Bunker. He was not only chauvinist, he was also racist.
But they were but that show was trying to address those things. Married with Children wasn't trying to teach anybody anything. It was just a comedy, and there was just a lot of misogyny.
It was of the time. Anyway, I think it should have been on there, but to each their own. All right, let's go to. Am I missing anything? No, I think we're down to final comments. Matt, what do you have to say this week?
I'm looking forward to improvement. This was not a great start, but on a side complete note, I got to give a shout out and a happy ask, I guess. My baby bro is taking part in a 100K kilometers. For those who don't know kilometers, I don't know the conversion, but a lot. Bike ride, cycle for cancer. He said, actually, is if we can accumulate enough donations to help support his cause, he will throw the produce stand on his jersey for the day.
What?
Yeah.
All right. What's his target?
So I'm gonna tweet it out.
Okay.
I'll put his link. It's a ride for cancer. His name is Jeff. He's a good dude. He's a really good guy. It's not that we have to make any specific donation. He hasn't even set a value, but if we said if I can accumulate and really put the challenge to me, but I'm like, I have this forum, so why the fuck not? I'm going to put it out there. And I also haggled him saying, if we get enough, would you put us on your shirt? He said, yeah. So, I've already put $50 in myself. Anyone who is willing or able or wanting or care, or this means something to you, give what you can, and I'll put it up there. And it's and we'll go from there. So we get enough donations.
Nice.
We'll have the produce stand put on his his homemade jersey the day of his race, and broadcast his head on the east coast of Canada. So look for that tweet, and again, give what you can.
So that's out on the east coast. I was going to ask you whether that was that ride that goes to Niagara Falls and back, but that's more.
No. I think my other brother might actually take in that. They all ride bikes, and apparently I sell them, so I don't.
Somebody has to sell the bikes.
You can count on my donation.
Yeah, I'll definitely throw some shekels on there. So make sure you share out that link and
I'll tweet it out.
Awesome.
And please, even if you can't share it on to followers, whatever. The part I wanted to ask, and this was the key, is I want to have some fun with this too. So if you do happen to participate, please, there's a section that says name to appear or comments for supporter. Please only put Letterkenny references. So if your name is Gaylor, I'll know that you came from here. If you're saying pitter patter fucker or something like that, I'll know that this came from here. So we can link it out. He can have a laugh. We're all supporting a good cause, and we're bringing it back to Letterkenny.
Love it.
Use those phrases or those things, anything you want, Letterkenny oriented, so we know that's you and he can laugh at it when it comes through.
Sweet. Tanya, any final comments?
Nope. I think I'm good for the night. Ready for bed.
Welcome to the talk show, Tanya.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
All right. Well, I've got, even less to say, I think, but looking forward to this season. It feels like we finished season 5 so long ago. Now that we're adding all these extra things in between seasons, which are a lot of fun and at least prolong the wait that's going to happen once we finally catch up, and we're waiting for seasons 10 and 11 to come out. The other piece of news is, we've now got confirmation that production has begun. They're up in Sudbury and they're starting to shoot and produce. I think it was Awesome who shared a call sheet or something, or I don't know what it's called. It's something that was describing one of the locations that they're shooting at. So it's starting. So they're and I know from a source that I will not name that they're not just shooting one season's worth, they're shooting 2 seasons worth. They're shooting 10 and 11. So that's good news. That's amazing news that they're doing that, and they've had a long time to write these scripts. So let's hope for some gold. Let's hope that we'll have lots to talk about in the future. Chad, thank you very much for joining us. Always a pleasure to have you here. And that's all I have to say. Victor?
Thanks for setting the bar real low for this opening season. So I expect things to just get better. They can't possibly get worse. So I think we're going to have a much better episode 2. So I'm looking forward to that. And that's about it. Chad, thanks a lot. And again, thanks for giving us probably one of the nicest logos in hockey, and for Kirby Puckett.
Wait a minute. What's the
Which
nicest
one are you talking about?
Yeah.
You're talking about the Wild?
The Wild?
Yeah, the Wild have a pretty sweet looking logo.
You like that logo?
It is a good logo. I'm not
gotta
much
get
of
in
a
there.
hockey guy.
You got to get in there a little close to appreciate it. But once you do, you will appreciate the logo.
I'm not much of a hockey guy, but it is a good logo. I'll admit.
There's a lot going on in there, and you've got the forest, and you've got the wolf, or what?
Cougar, isn't it? A cougar or something, or a mountain cat of some kind?
I think it's a cougar. I think it's like a mountain lion or some shit.
Yeah.
I don't fucking know. It's definitely a mountain lion.
Yeah, for all our listeners, Matt is putting up a beautiful picture right now. That's a nice looking logo. Anyway, so there's that, and Kirby, one of the more animated and fun characters.
You love your Kirby
Puckett. For that.
The Ducks, though. So
yeah, well, that too. Yes, we'll keep coming back.
You're welcome, Anaheim. For a hockey team.
There you go.
Chad, you got anything to say?
So thanks for having me. As normal. Anytime you need a guest and you don't have somebody on, let me know. I'll hop in and talk to you guys about Letterkenny for a bit.
Nice.
Well, we don't have anybody lined up for next week, but I feel like we should leave that open for volunteers. We'll see. I'll let you know if
it's nice that you're in the bullpen.
Yeah, you're in the bullpen.
So. just let me know whenever you need somebody, and I'll come up.
Very good.
Definitely not. I know I haven't gotten like a unicorn yet. Like 90% of your guests have.
You almost got a reverse unicorn on this one. You almost got a fucking rhino or whatever. I don't know what you call this one.
No, I think it's a horse's ass.
A horse's ass.
You got to get like a clip or something for that one.
Yeah. I was worried when Matt gave it a compost, but yeah.
Definitely the season 9 episode that I'll be on is going to be a unicorn. I guarantee it right fucking now. So.
Season 9? Really? Oh, he's calling his shot. All right. Well, we'll see.
Yeah. Sleepover? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we'll see if that happens.
Episodes.
You know what?
Anyway.
I'm not going to ruin it, but yes, that was a good one.
You can follow me on Twitter at Chad BTI. So
there you go.
CHAD BTI. So I'll tweet about like dumb Star Wars things and Batman and all the nerd shit, and sometimes Letterkenny.
Very good.
So, did you say MBTI?
Yeah, it's CHAD BTI.
Oh,
so
not
like my last name.
Myers-Briggs.
No.
No. All right.
So not to like put out my last name out there. It's like BTI, and my car is a Volkswagen Golf GTI, so it's like
there's a theme.
G-Shy.
All right, I'm gonna play us off with a song from this episode. It's called "Wahoo" by the Meat Bodies. Let this one marinate for a second. All right, and that's all we have for this episode. Next week, we recap and review episode 2 of season 6, Bush Party season. Don't forget to give our new sponsor, Diabolical Coffee, some love. They're at diabolicalcoffee.com. And remember, right now you can use a promo code ProduceStand for 10% off any purchase from their site. If you'd like to support the podcast, rate us on iTunes or become a patron. There's a Patreon link on our site or Twitter profile at ProduceStandPod. We're also on Facebook and Instagram at ProduceStandPod. Thanks for joining us. Now we're going to make and drink some Caesars because you can't see a Caesar and not want a Caesar. That's actually how they market Caesars. On behalf of Chad, Matt, Victor, Tanya, and myself, thank you for listening and have a great week.